Good evening, all. Welcome to the very first episode of Shared Light with JR Rodriguez and Dusty Rodriguez. I'm JR. This is my beautiful wife, Dusty.
And we've been together for 2 decades, married almost 20 years. And although we don't have all of the answers when it comes to love and marriage, we have learned a lot along the way. So we want to share that with everybody, what we have learned, some of our struggles along the way, and how we turned those into light.
As you will come to find out at some point, we've seen a lot of dark in our journey, separately and together. And there's been some, as with any marriage and anything that you do in life, there are highs and lows to everything. And we've seen some really low lows and we've seen some really high highs. One of the things that has kept us together and kept us moving forward has been our ability to communicate and talk. And through that communication, like Dusty said, we've learned a lot and been able to achieve a lot together. So we felt it was time to spread our story and help inspire and hopefully provide some help to some people that may be struggling. So I know that there will be a lot to come in the future.
So many topics that we can cover, I think.
Right.
We've had a long journey, but we've learned, I think one of the most important things that we've learned is, like, even when we do struggle or we have those dark times, like, you still see, if I'm having a hard time, like, you still see my light, and vice versa. So, like, you talk about it a lot when we first met, like, you were in a dark place, but I saw who you were, I saw your light. And I think that can and does go a long way in any relationship, like even marriage, even a friendship, even with your family members, any type of relationship that you have. It's very important to be able to see not just good things about that person, but like their light, who they are. Even though they're going through something in that moment, there's so much more. Like they have goals, they have things that they've achieved or want to achieve, or so I think that that's probably one of the most important things in our relationship and our marriage, and we're able to communicate better.
Right. Well, and one of the things that I've learned is in darkness, you're always going to find light. As Dusty touched on a little bit, I was, before we met, in a really dark place. And we'll get into some of that later on. But from the moment I met her, and I've told her this story, after the first time that we talked on the phone, I knew she was my light. I knew that she was the one that was going to bring me out of this dark hole I was in. And from that moment forward, she has been an inspiration and a guiding light for me to completely change completely turn my life around. I have leaned on her in some of my hardest times. She has leaned on me in some of her hardest times. But it's that constant appreciation for the underlying positive that she brings to my life that never goes away for me, even when we argue and even when we don't get along, which you've been together for 20 years with anybody, and I guarantee you're going to have an argument or two, and there's going to be things that you don't agree on, and those never fun. Those situations can cause a lot of hurt and can cause a lot of negative feelings and anger and confusion. But at the end of the day, the thing that we both hold on to and are willing to see in each other is that light. It is that one spark that we have for each other. And that's the way it should be, to your point, with everybody. I see it in my kids. We are proud parents of two beautiful little girls that are also the other half of that equation for me, right? That other half of that inspiration. What am I doing to ensure that they can shine their light on other people, and that they can build and grow and have somebody that they can look up to, with an understanding that, positivity goes a long way. I used to work with a guy that used to consistently tell me, you gotta kill him with kindness. You gotta kill him with kindness. And there's a lot to be said about that. Just being nice to somebody randomly, you never know what kind of impact that's gonna have on somebody. So, not to get too far into the weeds on things, we'll obviously touch on a lot of topics, and we've got a long journey, and we've been on a long journey, and again, we're excited to share it with everybody. A little bit about how the podcast came about, I think would be good to touch on for this first episode. Full disclosure, we are not perfect people. We are flawed in every way imaginable that you can think of. But again, we lean on each other in those times where we may feel our most vulnerable and our most hurt. And so for a long time now, my wife has been talking about doing a podcast. I like to say I'm a realist.
I'd say you're a realist.
And in a lot of ways that keeps me from putting my vulnerabilities out and doing things that I do not necessarily know that are going to add value to our life, right? So, and my wife, for the better part of a year, has been in a little bit of a dark place.
You can call it a dark place.
I mean, it's a dark place. And again, highs and lows, struggles and deep topics of conversation between the two of us. And here we are today. So with that darkness comes, again, light, right? I am a firm believer that anywhere you will find dark, you will find light. And vice versa, unfortunately, in some instances. So I would say over the past, 6 months, 3 months?
3 to 6 months, yeah.
You're doing, you're on an upward swing a little bit.
Yeah. I'm better. I'm not 100%.
Right.
But
So she started working. We weren't really sure if that was going to be a good fit. Turned out to be not a great fit. So found herself unemployed. And again, for the past, I don't even know how long you've been talking about a podcast.
It's been about a year, probably. Well, maybe longer. I don't remember the first time that I brought it up, but I just knew it was something that we could do.
So I'm on my way.
A lot of wisdom.
Right.
Teach the world.
I don't know about all that, but so I'm driving to work, and it was like a bolt of lightning. It just hit me. I think the fundamental thing that I can gravitate to, that I have firmly put my hands in a higher power of understanding, to know that the one common thing that the both of us share is an undeniable urge to help others.
Yeah. To see them do better, be better, succeed.
Right. So, what better way to spread the word and to try and help others? And I would say for the better part of the last decade, my focus has been micro within the organizations and with the people that I've worked with, and the relationships I've developed with the people I work with, the kids, and seeing them improve, seeing the people I work with improve, striving to make sure that we're moving towards the goals that we have. But sometimes I understand that you feel lost in that equation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think once the kids went back to school was really around the time that you also kind of dove into and found your groove in your career, as far as like, I know what I want to do now. Like, I want to mentor people. I want to be that person for people and help them grow and help them, which is great and which, I support. But on my end of it, from my view, it was, where do I stand? Like, where do I fit now? You know what I mean? Like, my kids are in school, they're doing their thing. Like, they still need me, but they're not home all day, and they need me in that way. You have an Not that you're not focused on me, but like, you have another focus that you're honing into, and it's like I told you, like, it's okay. I've supported them, been there. Like, it's kind of like when you do raise kids, like, okay, now that they're adults, here you go. Like, even though they're not, but like, that's kind of how I felt. Like, now they're doing their thing, all of them, and where am I? What am I doing? Where do I fit? Who am I? I know that I'm Jared's wife. I know that I'm the kids' mom, but that's not my full time, 100% focus anymore, because they don't need it to be. And so, yeah, lost.
Right. Right.
I mean, we were happy. We're obviously not like lost in a marriage, and the kids aren't, well, but I myself and where I was supposed to fit in and what I was supposed to be doing is where I felt lost. So it felt like, well, now I'm not enough. Like, now I don't have to do all these other things that I was doing every day, all day. So, yeah.
Which, again, full disclosure, and you and I have talked about this. So you have been for me for the better part of 20 years what I strive to be for people now. You have been my rock. You have been my support. You have been the one who has mentored me. You have been, I mean, and you may not even realize it, but you have, right? So I take a lot of cues from the good person that you are inherently and that you were raised to be inherently. And not to say that I was not, because I had a good upbringing. My parents were great. I took a detour. And looking back, as of the conversation that we had the other day that prompted this podcast to start, is I finally understand it. I finally understand that our purposes align. Your purpose has been focused on the kids and I.
Yes.
Which we have seen and reaped all the benefits of, but the flip side to that is I could understand why you felt lost. Now, right? I didn't understand it even 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And some of that may be, the classes that I'm taking and reflections and things that I'm doing, and I'm starting to kind of connect some dots, bigger picture, but it brought us to where we are today, which our focus now is aligning our view and aligning our goals and aligning our purpose, which I think that's the bigger impact that we both see, is that we both feel our purpose is to help others.
Yeah.
Which is what inspired the podcast, and that's why we're here. And that's the whole purpose of why we feel we have something to give back. It's not even that, we may not have anybody listen to us, but at least we feel like we're doing our part to spread the message of being able to help others in any capacity that we can.
Yeah, just what we've learned. Like, we are not experts. We are not counselors. We are not perfect by any means possible, at all. We have messed up. We have hurt each other. We have said awful things to each other at points. But the most important thing about it is that how we came out of it, how we turned it around, how we got to where we are 20 years later. in our marriage and where we're at, and how we were able to use communication to get here.
Right. Right.
Because you always hear like communication is key, and it's very cliche, but it's true. Like how you communicate with your partner makes the biggest difference
Yeah.
in your marriage.
And I think for us, it was finally coming to that understanding of we both want the same thing. I'm not trying to prove my point anymore.
Yes.
And you're not trying to prove your point
Yes.
anymore.
And that's something that we will also touch on in another episode is me versus you. And you know how people usually fight, like we're having an argument and it's like me versus you, but then you come to, through communication and other things, you come to learn that it's us versus the problem. It's not JR versus Dusty. It's us versus whatever the problem is or whatever the issue is. And that could be whatever you're going through, it could be whatever I'm going through, but it's always us versus that. And I think that is a lot. It's not something that people first go to when they're in a heated argument with their spouse or with even their friend or with anybody.
I mean, if you look at, I mean, at least the way I was raised, I can't speak for what it was in your household, but that's not how my parents communicated, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, my mom, she was very fiery and very opinionated, and my dad can be as well.
But I think that's pretty common in a lot of relationships in that, because, and I, you know, even when we argue or whatever, it's like I still, and I don't know about you, but I still kind of have that in me where it's like, but I want to get my point across, or I want you to understand how I feel, like. And so I think a lot of that is like, no, I want to be right in a lot of relationships. Like, I need to prove my point. I need to be right. Just understand me.
And this is where I go back to like a lot of the stuff that I have been learning over the past, 6-7 years. And they call that ego, right? So your ego forces you to get to have that, right? To have that.
Yeah. I want to be
I'm gonna be right. You're going to understand my point of view.
Yes.
Because it's my point of view, and in this situation, it's the most important point of view.
Yes.
Which it's something that you're gonna fight forever, right? So like I still have my instance where I feel it well up in my cheeks. As soon as I get mad, that's what happens. I get the flesh
Red
cheeks, but I have to check myself real fast of like, why do I need to be right?
Yeah.
Right. So it is not easy, and that's the one thing that I will state is that it has not been an easy journey for us to get to 20 years at all. But I would say where we are in our marriage today versus where we were 20 years ago, even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would go through all of it again to be where we are today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's always going to be like, oh, I wish we would have figured this out sooner, or,
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, I also just believe in like, you're supposed to go through what you go through. There's always a reason for, as dark as it can be, or as frustrating, or as hard as it can be to learn those lessons. It's like, once you're on the other side of that, which I feel like we're on the other side of that.
I think it depends on the days.
Well, I mean, not like specific topics, specific issues.
Right.
But overall, I feel like our communication, 100%, we're over that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've gotten to a point where we are extremely good communicators with each other.
Yeah.
I think we have managed to logically talk through situations that are highly emotional.
Yeah.
And some of that has been through laying ground rules on the way we communicate in those situations, which we can get into that later. But You know, there's a lot of complexities to just living with somebody for 20 years and to being around somebody for 20 years. But for us to have the relationship that we have today, I think doesn't happen very often.
No.
Because I know there's a lot of people that are together for a really long time, but I almost feel like, and we got to that point at one point in our relationship where it's almost like you have a roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're on autopilot.
Right. Right.
And you're just like, it's when you take it for granted that it's like, you can go about your day and do whatever and say whatever, but like, you're just like, oh yeah, I know. Like, we know we love each other and that's it. You know? But letting it go on autopilot is where I think it starts to invite all of the potential for arguments and you know what I mean? Because it's just like I've always said, it's like a home, like a
Mm-hmm.
house. Like you're building the foundation, you're building the walls. If you do not take care of your home in 10 years, what is it going to look like? Is it going to be able to provide you a roof over your head? Is it going to, you know what I mean? It's the same logic, I guess, for a marriage. Like you put in the work every single day.
And you have to.
And you have to. And it's just like if you want to, like, hey, I want a big deck outside in the backyard of my house. I want it to look nice and look pretty. And like, you have to work at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you want your marriage to be? Do you want it to be on autopilot? Do you want to fight all the time? Do you want to be unsure of how your partner feels about you? There's so many different aspects in our marriage that we have had to figure out. Like, what do we want out of it? How do you feel about it? How do I feel about it? What do you need from me? What do I need from you? There's so many different variables that we've had to
And I
figure
think,
out.
and I think we've been blessed in the sense that a lot of our goals have aligned for a majority of our relationship.
Yeah.
Um, which I'm not going to discount that, right? That we were pretty lucky in finding somebody, another half that is along the same mentality and goals that you have. To your point, it's those situations where you don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the ones that get sticky and can get in the weeds and can get, I mean, if you're not working at it and being honest and being open and, to your point, having that communication out there, it does get to a point where it just invites the dark, regardless of what you're doing.
Yes.
It's really easy to just let that start to creep in to drown out some of the light, which can be scary. I mean, it's scary. And again, that's all stuff that we can talk about later. We've obviously had some situations in our marriage where it got pretty dark for a little bit, and not just independently, but with each other. So it's not, again, to your point, it's not that we're experts by any means. I don't consider myself an expert in much. Um, it really is just about sharing our point of view and seeing if anybody finds value and gets something out of it that helps them be better tomorrow. So at the end of the day, I mean, that's my goal is what did I do today to make myself better than I was yesterday? It's those little incremental steps over time that show you the greatest benefit when you look back 5 years, 10 years, which I think we have done a really good job at was we've worked and worked and worked. And even when we did run into some obstacles, we worked harder and worked and worked and worked. And it's not, I mean, that's one of the things that I think gets discounted nowadays. People are real easy to just, "No, I'm done."
Yeah. I don't want to deal with this.
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's everybody's, and that's the prerogative of whoever, and everybody has the right to feel how they want to feel. But the reality of it is, you can't do it alone. No matter how hard you think you want to or can or aspire to be alone, it just doesn't work. You have to have somebody And I'm not saying it necessarily has to be, a partner or a significant other, but everybody needs somebody. I'm just lucky enough to have found my best friend in my wife, right? So she's the one that I laugh with. She's the one that I look forward to telling my terrible day about, and my good days. She's the one that I look forward to just being with.
Yeah.
Um,
We just enjoy being
right,
together.
and we can just be. And I don't have to be doing anything extravagant. I can just be sitting on the couch, listening to whatever my girls are yapping about that day, and be perfectly content with life, because I have my best friend with me, and I know that she understands what we've been through, number one, but knows who I am to my core. And that says a lot. And that's what I see in her, right? And we've talked about that too, is that you have your instances where you don't feel enough or worthy, or which is very much where I was, and still get,
And
from time to
I
time.
was saying, you still have your
Yeah.
moments too, but I think that's the part where we're carrying that light for each other
Right.
in those moments where, like, we always say to each other, like, you need to view yourself from my eyes or my perspective. Like, and I think we're always trying to, like, do that for each other, especially like when we have our dark moments, but or when we're struggling to see, like, am I doing enough? Am I being enough? Like, those are the moments where it's like, you are, and this is why you are, and this is how you've been, even though maybe today you didn't do this, or this, but, like, that's okay. That's not your an expectation of you. And, like, you're still who you are and who you've always been.
Well, I think that's what gets lost on both of us, that we set higher expectations on ourselves. And like,
On each
my
other.
expectations for you do
Yes.
not align with my expectations that I have of me.
Exactly.
And same with the kids. I don't expect them to push as hard as I do, or to work as hard as, or any of that, right? I just want them to be themselves, whatever that may be. Um, as long as it is bringing them some joy and light. I mean, the rest of it is all, at the end of the day, you're not taking any of the stuff with you. You're not, I've recently read some stuff about, most of the stuff that people think about right before they pass is not any of the things that they have. It's not any of the situations that they've been through. It's the people that they have in their life
Right.
that they worry about and that they think about, and the regrets that they have with not doing more with those people.
Yeah. Time spent.
So for me, it's that, right? It's being able to share that light and being a part of that light with you guys.
Yeah.
Um, and the rest of it is what it is. It's not anything that, I mean, I like having nice things, and I like that we are where we are in life, but the most important thing to me is, how are you feeling today?
Right.
How are you doing today?
Right. And vice versa. Like, of course, like, I love our house and the things that we've been able to have and do because of your job. But, like, for me, it's like when you get home, it's like, how was your day? Like, truly, how was your day? And how, like, what went on? Or how are you feeling about how you made an impact today? Or, because I know that's important to you, on how you impact other people, especially those that, like your team at work. And those are the most important things to me, is that you're doing because I know your goals and I know who you are. So for me, it's important just to be like, did you try to do that today? Did you accomplish anything regarding that today? And even if not, fine, but it kind of keeps you motivated a little bit, because you do get frustrated, I think, at times, or like unmotivated.
I get discouraged, is the word.
Yeah.
Discouraged. I
And
get
it can be
discouraged then.
discouraging, but I think it's the same thing with the kids. Like we tell them all the time, like, you just do your best. If that's a B for today, or a C, or you know, because there's so many variables to their day.
Right.
There's things that they struggle with. There's, you know, so many different factors that kids deal with. I think that people aren't aware of that. It's like,
Well, and
you just,
nowadays they're bombarded with so much information,
yeah,
so much information. I mean,
yeah,
they're learning things, not even just in school, but just in all this
yeah,
social media. There's a screen everywhere you go.
yeah,
There's so much that they know about that. Like when I was my girl's age, I was worried about riding a bike on it.
right,
You know what I mean? Like I thought it was fun to go ride a bike at the cemetery,
right.
and it's not that. I mean, it's just not that world anymore.
It's not.
And I think that's what does get lost a lot, especially when kids struggle, is that they do have an awful lot more going on than I think we did as kids. That is a two-edged sword, right? There's a lot of positives that go with having all the information that they have access to, but there's also a lot of negatives. And there is an awful lot more dark that they are exposed to because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is scary. I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's not something that I ever want my girls exposed to, but at some point, I'm sure something will come along that we'll have to deal with.
Yeah. But the most important thing for me is like check in.
Yeah.
Like, not how did you do at school and how'd you do on your tests. Like, yeah, there's some of that's important, but for me, it's more how was your day? How did you struggle at all? Like, what was the struggle? What do we have anything we need to work through? And it's the same for you and it's the same for me. Like, that's the most important thing in our family, in our relationship, in our, you know, because with that, anything that may come, especially the dark times, we know we're able to get through it. And we know that we're able to get our kids through what they need to or what they are struggling with.
We hope. I mean, we've made it this far.
We don't have teenagers yet, so.
Right. All right. So, anyways, it's been a joy talking to everybody. Hopefully, this first one was a little insightful, and we hope to share more stories along the way and more insight. Just offer whatever we can in order to, again, help those that need it and find a way to make people better along the way.
And just have conversations together.
And that's the big one, I think. Mm-hmm. Again, that gets lost. That people don't converse the way they used to. It's really easy to just get stuck behind the scrolling monster. I may do it all.
Yeah, it is. And
although these days I don't have near as much time to do that. But.
So, I mean, a lot of these may just also be us. Oh, I mean, most of it's going to be just us having conversations.
That's the intent. There's just to talk through some of the challenges we've faced and some of the insights we've gained from it, some of the lessons learned, and 20 years is a long journey.
It is.
I don't know that I've done anything for 20 years.
You've had me longer than my parents had me. So I think each episode we're going to close out with what we call a weekly reflection. That's going to be how we brought each other light this week.
This past week.
One thing that I've done for you and you've done for me that we have brought each other light.
Okay. Let me think.
Think hard. There's got to be one thing.
Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday morning. Tuesday or Wednesday morning. I don't remember which. Wow. I don't remember what day it was. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. Doesn't that? I mean, yeah, that's indifferent, I guess. I was frustrated. Work things. Sometimes I get frustrated. Sometimes I get into my little moods where I don't want to.
Yeah.
coexist with other people.
Yeah.
I may have been filling you in on what was going on. Um, I'm sure I was filling you in on what was going on. Anyways, you were supposed to go to work that day, right? So that's the day that your boss reached out to you. You were struggling a little bit, I think, that day. Um, but even in all that turmoil and all that angst and uncertainty, you made the comment to me that you were a little bit anxious, but you weren't going to let it bother you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that brought me light was because for me, it's another example of how you consistently show up and face your fears. And even when things get really dark for you, which that may have not been the case in this situation, but it provides me light because it's inspirational for me to see how you don't succumb to your fear. You face it.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's probably something that I don't tell you very often, but in every one of those instances, particularly, I mean, specifically this past week, based on all the circumstances and everything, I thought it was going to be a rough week. And I mean, you took it like a champ. That to me, again, it inspires me. It motivates me. It makes me want to go out there and do the things that are scary for me.
Yeah.
Because you do it daily. So that's mine for the week. That I can really pinpoint as one that again, I tell you all the time that I think at this point you think I'm just saying it to make you feel good, but
No, I believe it.
You really do inspire me
I do believe it. I do.
to be a better person daily. So
That's what we should be for each other, right? Mine was it was the same day because I did wake up pretty anxious that morning, but you were out in the gym and then you were like, okay, I'll do it later. And then you just came in and laid with me for that hour instead of doing your workout, which I know your workout is important to you to like get your day started and get motivated. And so that was important to me because you recognized like what I needed in the moment. And it makes me emotional because, and not like I want to say like in a bad way, but like we have not always been there in our marriage.
no.
And there were, like that's not something that you would have done 10 years ago.
You know what I mean? Something like, I would have done 2 years ago.
Well, and not because you didn't want to, but because you didn't know, or we weren't on that level with each other where it was like, I recognize it, I see it, this is what she needs, or this is what he needs, and you can act on it, And so that was probably my light for the week because it's like just some reassurance of like, we're there, like I can see that in you can see it in me, and we can just be that for each other instead of like doing it alone.
Right.
Or, like for me, if I would have had to do that alone all day, I couldn't have been that for you later on in that same day. Like I would not have been in that headspace. So I feel like we're just in that place where it's like we can be that and kind of bounce off each other.
And that's what the ultimate goal is, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's being able to... Marriage, I don't care what anybody tells you, marriage is not 50-50.
No, it varies by the day.
Right. Some days I need to be 80 or 90, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be situations where she's going to be 80 or 90.
Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is. I mean, that's what you need to be for each other. I feel like.
I mean, if you truly value your marriage and you truly value the person that you have made that commitment to, I mean, that's the way it needs to be. And sometimes it may even be, a full 100%. And
Yep,
we've had those moments
we
too.
have had those moments.
It's worth every minute on the
It
other side
is.
of it.
It is.
So, again, thank you all for listening to the
Thanks for
first one,
joining us.
and
We're
we'll
excited.
see. Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.